Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kylie and today I am going to do my July wrap-up. So in July I did pretty good. I read 4 actual books and I think like one and a half maybe audiobooks. I was in the middle of one at the end of June, so yeah, so in the order that I read them, and they are going to be backwards, sorry. This is The Ripple Effect by Greg Wells. It says eat better, sleep better, move better, think better. And it was a nonfiction kind of self-help book. It tries to show you how, not tries, it does. It shows you how, nutrition and exercise and proper sleep and the last one is think better, so I don't like mental health, I guess. I forget. Think clearly was the last chapter. Anyways, how they all go together, and his main thing was like if you just change a bunch of different areas of your life by just like 1%, like making one small tiny change really makes a big difference. And I got what I needed out of it, but it was super dry and it was really hard to get through, and I could only kind of read about 30 pages at a time before I fell asleep or felt like I needed to do something else. My mind drifted, whatever. You just couldn't read anymore. But anyways, I got through it. It had a lot of really good information, but it's definitely something that you need to be in the mindset to read, I guess. Okay, then I read Swallowing Grandma by Kate Long. I have a video up, a review of this book already. I put it up last week, I think. This book is about a 18-year-old girl named Kat who it's just about her living with and taking care of her grandma, and throughout the book she kind of figures out who she is and figures out kind of what happened to different family members of hers that disappeared they left around the time that she was born, and just her experiences with that. And it was pretty good. Oh, I forgot to say, I gave The Ripple Effect, I think I gave it, I don't know, did I give it 4 stars? That's being generous. I gave this one 4 stars. I really liked it. For more of my opinions on it, you can go and watch my review video on it. Then I read very quickly, got through this in 2 days. This is a super easy read, 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. Very popular. I feel like if you haven't read the book or seen the TV show, or at least heard about it, please let me know what rock you're living under, because I feel like I probably want to come visit you sometimes if you're that isolated. Because I could use a break sometimes too. Yeah, so that was, it was different from the show. They had to make it different to make it into a TV show, because I remember thinking when I watched the show, how, if you got these tapes, how could you not just binge listen to them all at once the same night? How could you put it down and let it spread out over even a week? But I can't remember how long in the movie in the TV series that it takes for him to get through all the tapes, but it's just yikes. And exactly what I thought. In the book, he binges and listens to them all the first day that he gets them. I think he listens to them all within 12 hours or something like that, which is exactly what I thought if that happened to you. It was really interesting format, because of course the cassettes. It was really cool. I really loved it. Obviously trigger warnings with this for suicide and rape, and there's probably more. yeah, I think I give it 4 stars. And then I read 10,000 Lovers, and it's not what you think at all. This book is set in the 70s in Israel, and it starts out with a girl just needing a ride, just hitchhiking, which it's kind of a scary thing, kind of in North America, but in poorer countries for sure, it's definitely a super normal thing. I lived in Costa Rica for a time, very, very normal to be hitchhiking and to ride in the back of a truck with a bunch of chickens. Like, I actually did that a couple times. So, anyways, this guy picks her up, and from there, like, they're dating, like, from the first time that they're together. If you like romances, this is a romance that's just a little bit different. The language is different. How they talk to each other, they're very direct and just like, it's like they just say their feelings. I don't know. I read a couple of reviews on it where like the person gave it 2 stars or whatever, and they talked about how it just didn't seem real. But I think that that's where you need to take the culture into perspective. And, yeah, because that plays a big role. Like, it doesn't make sense if this took place in America, because people here don't talk to each other like that. But it's really different in different parts of the world. And so you have to consider that. This book isn't badly written. Like, that's just how people are. In other cultures, people are very direct and say what they mean, and speak about their feelings, even though in our culture that we don't necessarily do that. And this book also dives into political and social issues surrounding the whole Israel-Palestine conflict, and the characters' perspectives, and the characters meet people and have discussions throughout the book with people who see things a bit differently from them. And we have the perspective of the male in the pair. I think his name was Ami, Ami, and he actually worked for the Israeli army as an interrogator. And it's not what you think at all. But that's all. So that's all I'm going to say. I don't want to spoil it too much. But I will say, if you're interested in a romance, if you like a romance novel, this is something that's a bit different. It is I think mostly would be considered a romance novel, but it's not your typical one. It's a little bit different. So there's those. Those are the physical books that I read. Then, I think I give that one, I wanted to give it 3.5, but on GoodReads you can only give full stars. So, yeah, I don't know. I give a 3.5, I guess. And then for audiobooks, I finished listening to The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. That book was incredible. It was amazing. I did a video review of it. It's been up for a while because I finished it at the beginning of the month. And I think I wrote a little blurb on GoodReads as well, so you can check those out. But it was amazing. That was a 5-star read for sure. So good. And I was really disappointed to find out that the author doesn't really have any other works available. That's kind of their only novel. I think maybe written some short stories, but I looked her up on the internet because I wanted more from her, and no. So I was pretty disappointed about that. But that book was incredible. It was really, really good. It's about magic, and basically the circus of which the book is titled is kind of a stage for 2 different magicians to compete against one another, but it's so much more than that, and it was incredible. It was really amazing. The writing was impeccable. It was perfect. It was an excellent, excellent, excellent book. And finally, the last audiobook that I read was The Song of Achilles. The Song of Achilles, by Madeline Miller, is it tells the life of Patroclus and Achilles from when they're young kids. I think it starts about when Patroclus is about 9 years old, and it goes all the way until their deaths in the War of Troy. When they're, how old are they during that war? The war lasted like 10 years. I bet they died when they're in their mid-20s, I think. Probably. I don't know that they made it to 30. But anyways, so, like, it's, I feel like a little bit it's marketed as a retelling of the Iliad. But the Iliad, according to Wikipedia, because I actually have not read any translations of the Iliad. The Iliad tells the story of the Trojan War, but only, like, the war. And this, the Song of Achilles actually concentrated, and most of the book is about the characters before the war and leading up to the war. And then it does tell about what happened in the war, but the war is not the focus of the story. The focus of the story is the two men and their relationship with each other. And it was so good. So good. Another 5-star read. I don't think I'm going to do a review video on it. I have a really hard time with review videos for audiobooks. I can't, it's hard for me because I don't have the book. I can't flip through it and like look for certain things that I want to say or whatever. And yeah, I mean, sometimes in an audiobook when you're listening to it, you get thinking about other things and you don't absorb things well. Something funny I will tell you, I knew very little about the Iliad when I was, sorry, I'm in my car and I thought I saw a shadow and I don't want someone to attack me, so just looking around. Yeah, I'm alone here, so I don't know what that was. I knew very little about the story of the Iliad. I knew kind of the basics. You know, there's this chick, Helen. She's supposed to be really great. And she gets, like, stolen. I feel like you can't really steal a woman, though, without her wanting to go. But that's beyond me. So they go to war over her. The Greeks go. And Achilles is... I didn't know which side Achilles was on of that war. But everyone knows Achilles' heel. And so I knew that he was going to die in the end, probably. But I also knew the thing about the Trojan horse. And that was how that Troy fell and that the Greeks won the war. And so when we get to the war part, I feel like I'm waiting for this horse thing to happen. And I've listened to the whole book, and like I said before, when you're listening to an audiobook, like lots of times, if someone comes in to talk to you, if you get a freaking text message, if the phone rings, like you missed a sentence or two, or even a paragraph, if you're slow to pause it. Okay, so I finished the book. I'm like trying not to cry at work. I go and I talk to my coworker, who I've been talking to throughout while I've been listening to the story, because she is familiar with the story of the Iliad. So I've been like telling her what's been happening, and she's been kind of giving me little hints of what's coming next and kind of thing. And she was like, there was no horse. And I was like, no, there was no horse. Like it ended and it talked about like them winning, but I didn't remember hearing about a horse. So then I go and I turn the audiobook on and I'm like backing it up to, okay, Achilles died, and then I'm listening to right after. It was literally one sentence. It was like, the sentence was like, and the war was won, but it didn't, because it's about Achilles' son it's talking about. So it's like, he didn't do it himself. There was Odysseus's idea and the horse and all that. That's it. That's all they said about the freaking horse. So I'm like waiting this whole time thinking like they're gonna like tell how that part happened. But I guess not. And yeah. So that was my funny bit. I don't know. Maybe you had to be there. But that was a 5-star read and that was so good. So I think I did really good. I did one kind of super boring book and I did get through it, and it took me about 2 weeks to get through it. Then I did 3 regular books and 1.5 audiobooks. So that's pretty good for me. And then also for the last book, the 10,000 Lovers, I really was kind of just taking my time with that. I ended up finishing it yesterday, but I took a few days where I didn't read anything. Just kind of taking a break before I do my newts, which is going to be the whole month of August, where I'm going to be going hard. I have like a goal to read 100 pages a day and listen to 2 hours of audiobook a day. So that's, depending on the book, that's probably about 3.5, at least 3 hours of like reading a day, which is a lot. I'm a mom of 2 and I work full time. So yeah, but I hope you liked this video. If you did, give me a like. Please comment. Let me know if you've read any of the books that I read, or what you thought of them, or if you have any questions about some of the ones I've read. There was a couple that aren't really well known in there anyways. And subscribe if you want to see more. I'm going to be around. I'm doing the newts for the whole month of August. I'm going to be posting video blogs of every Monday, posting some reviews, and just some Harry Potter themed content throughout the month of August. That should be really fun. I'm really looking forward to it. So Harry Potter is like my number one in life, besides my kids. Besides my kids. Yeah, my kids are my number one in life. Oh gosh. Okay. Well, that's all I have for you today. Bye.